This is a 2007 Ford Mustang Shelby GT, and today we're going to go over the quirks and features. I'm going to give it a Doug score. No, actually I'm not. We're not going to do that. This is in here. This is actually a guy that goes to my church, and he was driving this recently, and he had some issues with it, coolant everywhere, overheating, and that's why it's here. But let's talk about a few details about the car itself. This is an awesome car. It's beautiful. I think I could get my thinking chair and sit out in front of it and just sit here all day and just look at it. But that doesn't make any money, so I probably shouldn't do that. So like I said, it's a 2007 Ford Mustang Shelby GT. It's got the 4.6 V8, 325 horsepower, 330 pound-feet of torque. This is actually the first year that they made. This is a 07, and in that year, they made 5,763 of these. Not very many. So, you don't see these a lot on the road. I think I've maybe seen a couple others, but there's not a whole lot of them out there. It's got better wheels, it's got better suspension, it's got a little bit more power, and my favorite part of this car, when I went and road tested it, is the Hurst Shifter. I was expecting long throws, and I was just used to most stick shifts that come through here, and it was just tiny little baby clicks. It was just so nice. I was like, wow, this is my favorite part of the whole car. Let's get on with what's wrong with the car and show you guys what I went through to find out what's wrong with it. So I got a message not just a couple of days ago on this. My car's overheated, there's coolant everywhere, I'm scared something's really bad wrong. I told him to have it towed or tow it to the shop, and here it is. The scenario on it is that he's driving around, he was around town and on the highway a little bit, but this happened towards the end of his little pleasure cruise that he went on. He said antifreeze was just like Vesuvius, and the temperature gauge was clear up to H, just as he was pulling into his driveway, and he turned it off. And he didn't go any further than that. We're going to open the hood. We're going to talk about it a little bit, and I'm going to show you some of the steps that I went through to find out what's wrong. So with the scenario I just gave you, what do you think is wrong? Without going any further in your mind, what do you think is wrong? I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time here to think about it, and then we're going to see if your ideas are right. So what kind of ideas did you guys come up with that could be wrong with this thing? Do you think it was a thermostat? No, it didn't end up not being a thermostat. Maybe you thought it was the water pump or the serpentine belt. It wasn't that. So, well, maybe it was a radiator or something, or low on coolant. It wasn't that either. So let's go through some of the steps that I went through, and I'll tell you why it wasn't some of these things. I'll start with the first step was to fill it with fresh coolant and pressure test it. And I did that, and it held 15 psi all day long. Not a drip. There wasn't a leak. That tells me the water pump hasn't gone bad and spewing everywhere. There's no burst hoses or anything like that. So the next step was put the cap on and let it run for a while, see if it'll get past the halfway mark or try to overheat or anything. And I had the AC on just as he would have the day that he drove it, and it just ran beautiful for quite a while. It just sat there nice and right in the middle on the temperature, and pressure was good and no issues. And I was almost to the point where I was about to give up, like I can't find the problem. And the temperature had reached a point where it was time to switch over to the high speed circuit on the fan. It was running off of the low speed just fine. But when it went to high speed, the fan died. It just stopped. Then the temperature started climbing. I ran over here real quick to grab the relay, the little relay on the high-speed circuit. I'd already looked at those. I've seen which one's low, which one's high. The fan's not running, not even spinning, but when I grabbed the relay, it was so hot it almost scalded my fingertips. I mean, it was just, I imagine inside of here was glowing red. I'm surprised it didn't melt the plastic. I really am. So the next step that I did was, I have showed this on my tools video I have, if you guys want to watch that, or I'll just show it you here. These are they look like relays, but they have a switch on top. So what you do with these is the place where the relay used to be, you put it in. Then you can manually test the fans or whatever, fog lamps or whatever it is you're testing, on and off. Obviously it's not turning on now because the key's not in the ignition, but whenever I would turn the switch on, the fan finally would come on. But even my little tester switch started getting hot. So I did an amperage test, and it should be pulling maybe 20 amps, somewhere around in there on high. It was getting close around 30. It was pulling way too much power. Not enough to blow the fuse, but a constant, maybe even it was pulling at times more than 30 amps. And if it hovers at that high end for that long through a little relay, eventually it starts either melting wiring or melting the relay. Very likely what happened is that after, you can see the pins are discolored. Some are gold and some are from the heat. What happened here is that it's been pulling so many amps for so long, it finally damaged the relay to where it didn't even work anymore, so that's why the fan stopped working. I bypassed this and put my little switch in place, and it worked, but it was still pulling so much amps that even this little guy got hot. The fix for this problem, and I confirmed it on my Identifix direct hit, there's a common issue with these: a new fan and a new relay. There's no other way around it. If you put a new relay in, his fan will start working again. And guess what? He'll be cruising with his friends down the highway, and he'll pull off to go have lunch somewhere, and the same thing will eventually happen again. It'll melt the new relay. So a new relay is not the solution. New wiring isn't the solution. The fan itself is pulling so much power. Something's wrong with the motor's dying or whatever. So we've got the fan out, we've got the relay out, we're waiting on the parts to arrive, and once we get that taken care of for him, he'll be back in business. Of a fan that's not about to have a meltdown, and his antifreeze and everything will stay nice and cool. So that's the fix here. If you check my Amazon affiliates, we actually have these for sale. These are super, super handy. Instead of guesswork, is it a relay, is it a fuse, is it wiring? In one click of a switch, you can have answered 5 or 6 questions all in one click of a switch. Yes, it worked, it's got power, the wiring's good, the fuse is good. You know, you can really deduce a lot with these switches. So,
hey, Car Wizard, do most car parts stores take back electrical items? You take it back after you plug it into your car?
probably not, because what they'll do is they'll look at the pins and there'll be little scrape marks on them that shows that it's been installed. They're trained to look for this stuff. They look at the pins and they see they're scratched and scraped up from being installed, and they'll hand it back to you and say, try again, fella. So electrical parts and things are usually returnable if they've not been installed, but they know if it's been installed. They're not dummies with that. So these relays could help save you money. You can use them on friends' cars, families' cars. Hey, my fan quit working, my headlights don't work, or this or that runs off of a relay doesn't work, my fuel pump relay. This is like the all-knowing relay switch. It can just answer questions at the flick of a switch. Most relays are pretty easy to get to. Some of the newer cars, 17, 18, 19, they start integrating relays into the circuit board of the power control module. And if that's the case, you have to get a whole new fuse box, or maybe if you're mechanically or electrically inclined, you can take it apart and resolder on new relays. But these really work for cars that still use standard old relays, which a lot of them do. There's tons of them on the road still. But more and more cars are going away from replaceable relays. I don't know why. Why would you want to make someone have to buy a whole fuse box just to replace a fuel pump relay. And there's bypasses. I know of bypasses where you find the wiring that goes into the relay for that particular circuit. You cut the wiring and install your own relay, separate from the fuse box, and still let the computer control it. But I've had to do that a few times on Chryslers. The tip-ems go bad. Anyways, let's get this hood closed and get this finished up for you. If you find yourself in this scenario in your car that's overheating, or maybe it's just starting to climb a little bit, if you want to just try and get home, it's possible that you can turn your heater on full blast, as high as it can go, as fast as the fan can go. And that might buy you a few minutes of time. I've had to actually go through that scenario before, and it worked. You're gonna, if it's hot outside, you're gonna be like the Gobi Desert. You're gonna be sweating. You're gonna be like a sauna. But it's kind of like, do you want to go through that, or do you want your engine to have issues, burn it up? Once you get home and you start trying to figure out what happened, if you want to fix the problem yourself, be careful. Just as I showed you here, be careful that you don't just go out and buy parts and put them on. So, oh, it's got to be a thermostat. If I would have put a thermostat on this guy's car and handed him the keys, shame on me. It would do the same thing again. If I put a water pump on it and say, yeah, man, it's fixed, you're good to go, shame on me again. That's not fixed. It would do it again. You really got to find out wrong with the car and dig a little deeper before you actually buy any parts. Diagnosis can take a long time. It can be pulling your hair out type stuff on some cars, but it's necessary. I would rather stress myself than just to waste a bunch of cash of the customer's money. Now, if you decide you don't want to work on it and you just had an overheat, I recommend you don't drive it. It's worth the $100 tow or $60 tow or whatever it's going to be to get your car towed to your local mechanic. Just get it towed. Don't try to be a hero, and get the thing fixed. So as you've seen the little relay switches I had, or any other tools you're interested in, check our Amazon affiliates page in the link below. There's a lot of tools for sale there. We also got merchandise for sale. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button, go ahead and click that. And again, see you next time.